To welcome for my special event for me. But I hope that you will learn something from me today. And I will begin, as is announced in the beginning, about Beethoven, his life and his work. So you will hear something what you maybe didn't have opportunity to find out earlier. I like it to speak in memory, but because there are so many things quoting, I can't memorize every one words about Beethoven, what was said. So I will begin with the information you know all. He was born in 1770 in Bonn. This is a beautiful city in Germany, which was the capital of before West Germany for a while. He had father who was, they said, not special singer at court in Bonn, and the most important person in his life of family members was his grandfather, by whom he got the name, Ludwig van Beethoven Senior, to say. He was a Kapellmeister at court in Bonn, and he was very beautiful musician. This is written about him, very successful. Father Johann, who was a singer, with some knowledge of opera, comic, and so on. He performed at court, but not as a special singer, I said. And he had ambition to make of Beethoven second Mozart. So, when he was very, very young, between the age of birth of his younger brother and third one, he pushed him so much to practice with him on piano, which was just in developing state, as instrument, depriving him from sleeping. So much hours he had to pass with him practicing piano. That was what I said, real torture for me. But maybe he had developed his knowledge and he became later extremely good pianist. He organized one concert with him when he was, how he said, announced 6 of age, but he was more than 7.5 of age, to be just in the same time of Mozart's first performance in the front of Empress Maria Theresia of Austria. But unfortunately, although he played very well, how people say, and said he didn't have any support from the press. That was always the question. If you are supporting through press, that is something, but that was just without any. Later, he entered some school, Catholic school in Bonn, but he stopped. His father was alcoholic, and he couldn't continue his work to earn money for family needs. So he was at 10 of age with the Nefe, who is a very famous theoretical man, and he's a royal organist. So he introduced Beethoven to the artistry of music of Johann Sebastian Bach, which is very important. Because when we analyze sonatas by Beethoven, the last ones, for example, Opus 110, you can see that 2 movements are fugues. You can imagine that in such high level. Then he always spoke. I think that this consequence of beating his father, that he got some dyslexia, which was consequence that you miss reading, that you can see the word in opposite order of letters. You can imagine that, or to omit row. That just out of full control. And he said for that time, music comes to me more readily than words. What absolutely I understand. After 2 years later, so after 10, it was 12 years of age, Beethoven published his first composition on a theme by some composer, Dressler. In 14 of age, he was appointed as assistant court organist to help family with the modest earning because father deteriorated and he couldn't sing anymore. After 3 years at the court decided to help him to musically develop, sending him to Vienna. First time he was in Vienna, which all was very great capital of music and culture. He met allegedly Mozart, who was saying, "Keep your eyes on him. Someday he will give the world something to talk about." He stayed in Vienna for a short time because his mother was ill, but returning to home in Bonn, he carved his reputation out as the city's most promising young artist, court musician. After the French Revolution, which was, you remember, in 1789, people are coming from France, passing through the Rhineland, where is the Bonn and other cities settled. And he was a little bit anxious, unsettled. He liked to escape the Bonn city, and he came to Vienna now to stay. In Vienna, he stayed permanently till his death, and that was very useful for him because he studied with very famous composers. Joseph Haydn, he studied allegedly only piano, but I don't think so, because he brought from him the new work as a form, string quartet, which is written for 2 violins, viola and cello. And he worked vocal composition with Salieri, who was close to Mozart, and with Albersberger, who was counterpoint professor, amazing in his knowledge. So he developed his overall knowledge in music, in composition of every kind. What is also very important for Beethoven is that he never was subservient as other musicians, composers in that time, because they depended of church, of aristocracy, who helped them in money, of course, supporting them. Beethoven had very big number of patrons, aristocracy, of course, representatives, who helped him enormously in lodging, in everything what he did, but also he earned money teaching, composing, and selling his compositions. When the Holy Roman Emperor Joseph II died in 1790, 19-year-old Beethoven received immense honor of composing a musical memorial in his honor. But that was not performed. And Johannes Brahms found out 1 century later that Beethoven had in fact composed a beautiful and noble piece of music entitled Cantata on the Death of Emperor Joseph II. And it is said, now considered that his earliest masterpiece. That was earlier music. He wrote variations, but that was masterpiece considered. In 1804, Beethoven was 34 of age. Weeks after Napoleon proclaimed himself emperor, Beethoven has debuted his Symphony No. 3 in Napoleon's honor, later renamed the Eroica Symphony because Beethoven grew disillusioned with Napoleon. It was his grandest and most original work to date, so unlike anything heard before, that through weeks of rehearsal, the musicians could not figure out how to play it. It was so hard for them. A prominent reviewer proclaimed Eroica one of the most original, most sublime, and most profound products that the entire genre of music has ever exhibited. At the same time, as he was composing these great and immortal works, Beethoven was struggling to come to terms with a shocking and terrible fact, one that he tried desperately to conceal. He was going deaf. By the turn of the century, Beethoven struggled to make out the words spoken to him in conversation. Beethoven revealed in a heart-wrenching 1801 letter to his friend Franz Wegeler, "I must confess that I lead a miserable life. For almost 2 years, I have ceased to attend any social functions just because I found it impossible to say to people, I am deaf. If I had any other profession, I might be able to cope with my infirmity. But in my profession, it is a terrible handicap. At times driven to extremes of melancholy by his affliction, Beethoven describes his despair in a long and poignant note that he concealed his entire life. Dated October 6, 1802, and referred to as the Heiligenstadt will or testament, it reads in part, O you men who think or say that I am malevolent, stubborn or misanthropic, how greatly do you wrong me? You do not know the secret cause which makes me seem that way to you, and I would have ended my life. It was only my art that held me back. Ah, it seemed impossible to leave the world until I had brought forth all that I felt was within me. He thinks about all music he will write in the future, before he died. Almost miraculously, despite his rapidly progressing deafness, Beethoven continued to compose at a furious pace. From 1803 till 1812, what is known as his middle or heroic period, he composed an opera, 6 symphonies, 4 solo concerti, 5 string quartets, 6 string sonatas, 7 piano sonatas, 5 sets of piano variations, 4 ouvertures for trios, 2 sextets, and 70 songs. An die ferne Geliebte, to the far love of mine. The most famous among these were symphonies from 3 to 8. The Moonlight Sonata, the Kreutzer Violin Sonata and Fidelio, his only opera, in terms of the astonishing output of superlatively complex, original and beautiful music. This period in Beethoven's life is unrivaled by any other composer in history. I will just read to you something, little thing, which will be new for everyone, maybe most of you. I don't know if you had such opportunity to hear this story about how Moonlight Sonata was named. And this was interesting because this is a story about how Beethoven was inspired to compose the first movement of his sonata, Opus 27, number 1. He enjoyed walking through the streets of Vienna, and one night he saw a girl on the balcony of a house who was looking towards a cloudless sky, full moon and stars, holding her head very strangely. He later heard from her mother that she was born blind, and he was saddened. Because he knocked on the door, and mother opened the door and was very excited to meet very famous Beethoven. When he entered the house, he saw a piano in the lounge room. Beethoven set the piano and began to improvise music in simple broken chords, by which he deeply tried to describe to the girl, through his immediate musical imagination, the beauty of the moon and the stars. I didn't say she was, as I spoke again, blind, born blind. I learned of this story from my German language teacher at high school in Belgrade, Professor Budimir Bogdanovic, who heard this story in the time of his imprisonment during the Second World War in Germany. So I hope this is something new for everyone. It is said, I found out, reading material for this lecture to say, that he wrote also ballet, which is not mentioned in the works what I found out in history about him. And that was The Creatures of Prometheus in 1801, a wildly popular ballet which had received 27 performances at the Imperial Court Theatre. So this is also new for me. I don't know how much for you. Despite his extraordinary output of beautiful music, Beethoven was lonely and frequently miserable throughout his adult life. Short-tempered, absent-minded, I can't believe, greedy, also don't believe, and suspicious to the point of paranoia, Beethoven feuded with his brothers, his publishers, his housekeepers, his pupils, and his patrons. In one illustrative incident, Beethoven attempted to break a chair over the head of Prince Lichnowsky, one of his closest friends and most loyal patrons. Another time, he stood in the doorway of Prince Lobkowitz's palace, shouting for all to hear, "Lobkowitz is a donkey." For a variety of reasons that included his crippling shyness and unfortunate physical appearance, Beethoven never married or had children. He was, however, desperately in love with a married woman named Antonia Brentano, but there were other ones, I know, Giulietta Guicciardi and so on. Over the course of 2 days in July of 1812, Beethoven wrote her a long and beautiful love letter that he never sent. Addressed to you, my immortal beloved. The letter said in part, "My heart is full of so many things to say to you. Ah, there are moments when I feel that speech amounts to nothing at all. Cheer up, remain my true, my only love, my all as I am yours." When his younger brother Kaspar, who was who died in 1815, it was happening very ugly dispute between Beethoven and his sister-in-law, mother, wife of this Kaspar, and mother of Karl, his nephew, whom he adored, I know that. And I just have here the second movement in Beethoven Concerto, G major, number 4, where is dialogue between orchestra and solo piano. This is something so lyrical, amazing. And I found out that this tragic sounds in the orchestra is Beethoven. And the sound in melody, piano solo, is his Karl, nephew, whom he loves so much. And these melodies are, how to say, picture how Beethoven saw him. Not that he deserved that, because in relation with him he was not so honest. They were in this dispute, and that was in 7 years finished. And at the end, Beethoven won the boy's custody, but he lost his affection. This is very strange. Somehow, despite his tumultuous personal life, physical infirmity, and complete deafness, Beethoven composed his greatest music, perhaps the greatest music ever composed, near the end of his life. His greatest late works include Missa Solemnis, a mass that debuted in 1824 and is considered among his finest achievements, and String Quartet, which is very interesting to me, number 14, which contains 7 linked movements played without a break. It reminds me of Sonata by Liszt, which is in one movement, although there are 5 parts, absolutely for itself, but is very much connected. So this is similar to this case of String Quartet. Beethoven's 9th and final symphony, completed in the same year, remains the illustrious composer's most towering achievement. The symphony's famous choral finale, with 4 vocal soloists and a chorus singing the words of Friedrich Schiller's poem, Ode to Joy, is perhaps the most famous piece of music in history. While connoisseurs delighted in the symphony's contrapuntal and formal complexity, the masses found inspiration in the anthem-like vigor of the choral finale and the concluding invocation of all humanity. Beethoven died on March 26, 1827, at the age of 56. There are things about autopsy, what could be the source of and reason of his death, but this is not really true. I concluded, when I mentioned to you dyslexia, you remember what was the problem, and this deafness, which began at the end of 18th century, but he was 27 something, in full. That was, in my opinion, the consequence of his father's beating him as young. You know, he could beat him on the back, on the head and so on, and that is a big problem. So this is absolutely, for me, very logic to conclude, because people don't understand this is all very connected. Today medicine can connect something you hurt about knee or anything, and then occurs as a consequence many, many decades later. This is what is happening. So this is the explication how I see the case of Beethoven's deafness. So Ludwig van Beethoven, we know that, is widely considered the greatest composer of all time. He is the crucial transitional figure connecting the classical and romantic ages of Western music. Beethoven's body of musical composition stands with Shakespeare's plays at the outer limits of human accomplishment. And the fact Beethoven composed his most beautiful and extraordinary music while deaf is an almost superhuman feat of creative genius. I will tell you now words what he spoke about himself, and you will understand then why we need to perform the way I show. What he said, music is a revelation more than all wisdom and philosophy. Who wants to understand my music should be free of any trouble of ignoring the influence and opinions of other people, putting aside the rest of people. Destiny, you can see the bottom of my heart. You know that there's staying a charity and the pursuit of good deeds. My life is constantly thinking, why do I write? What is in my heart to make me relieved? So I write. According to my practice, when I compose, even for instrumental music, I have a whole composition before my eyes. You can imagine that? This is nothing with him only. This is spiritual. And I will show you in the example of Mozart and Bach, very similar. I do not usually correct my composition once completed. I never did, knowing full well that any partial changes spoil the character of the composition. So he has known that was done perfect on the spot in the first attempt, because he didn't have any other attempt. Even my heart beats for the sublime and great art of Sebastian Bach, this father of harmony. I'm always the biggest fan of Mozart, and it will stay until my last breath. So what I can say regarding these words and mentioning Bach and Mozart, I studied very much about their life. And for example, because Bach is older, I will begin with him. It's said that when he was asleep, in his mind, in his head, were coming music contents. And he said, I had to wake up and to write, because he has known that he was chosen to give this humanity. And he said, I lit candles. You can imagine this light, so weak and nothing. And how he had to struggle between quotation marks, because that's what his excitement, of course, to do so. About Mozart, one friend asked him how he writes so young such complex compositions, for example, symphony. And he said, I imagine one key, then I decide will be major or minor key, and then I warm up my mind. Look at that. And I warm up from the first to the last note. And when I finish this, I begin to write. So how you can explain this? And it is said that music is most spiritual art. So this is about how students have to approach music. Because of this, I alleged this, quoted these words. he said, when your student plays the piano smoothly and evenly, when they played notes quite accurately, only they need to watch the style. Don't stop them for small errors. Mention them only when they have finished playing. This method, he said, creates musicians, and this is primarily true goal in the musical arts. I had some quotes of Stravinsky, very famous modern composer. Igor Stravinsky said, Beethoven was a constant challenge for all musicians. The depth of thought, originality in musical ideas, according to a form that grows out of them after enduring diversity, that though at all times bears the stamp of his genius. The greatness of the Beethoven does not lie in the nature of his ideas, but does in high quality sound essence of his music. I had some quoting more, but I think this is enough for now, because I quoted him. This is the most important. Now, I will say just a few words about his works, not alleging them, because you know, when you learn and study for exams, high level, I mean, I must say, you have to know very much about history of music and composers and their works and analysis of works just you play. So he had developed quartet, string quartet, as a very high level of music pieces, but he brought this from Haydn, and he said, I didn't learn nothing. I did learn nothing from Haydn, what was not true, I know that. Just to be connected with the string quartet is enough for him. Then he has written sonatas for piano, I just speak, changing. Usually Mozart, Haydn had 2 to 3 movements. He involved 4 movements in the first of his sonatas. You can check there in the books. And many other things, the order of movements, usually in Mozart and Haydn, that was minuet at the end. He moved this in the middle movement and so on, and scherzo involved and so on. So this is just generally to say, I can analyze sonatas which students will have prepared and will perform to us, but I think that will be much better to see how we will learn to play sonatas in the way how Beethoven liked to be. This is, he said, how. The first student who will play today is Sarah Yu, who will play first movement of Sonata Opus 10 number 1 in C minor. Sarah. So I have to for everyone, don't be scared that you play today. This is just the moment that we can improve quality of play. So you have come for that, I hope. You can please, just a moment. We will have on the screen this sonata, whole sonata. And the portrait you have seen of Beethoven, his portrait is in my ownership, of the very famous Serbian painter in the 19th century. You will see when I turn the page, when I turn the page, I think you need to turn the next page. Well, Zara, yeah, Zara, this is quite solid. Can you stand up and sit here? And I'll just no, leave. What is important, firstly, to understand? Firstly, we watch the time signature, we watch key, of course, everything. But most important is how we rhythmize the music. Here is very big challenge because we have very sharp rhythm. We have dotted quavers with 16th. And students during the play they became a little bit tired, and they lose more and more little bit of this duration of dotted quaver. So this is very steady, has to be as granny to say. And I teach students always, doesn't matter how they are young or old and which level they are, to count. And sometimes to count aloud, doesn't matter how they are in age or not. Because it helps to control. And when you are at home by yourself without teacher's control, this is only self-control. This is only self-control, to count. Because this is half of music. We have rhythmic differences and we have pitch difference. So this is what is the basic thing. You see here we have, you can see, go back to the first page, please. Matthew.
I think it's on the first one.
Right, on first, good. So you see we have dotted crotches. So this is 6/16. I always, when I begin to prepare for my performances or students, I ask them to count aloud in the smallest value given. In this case, this is 16. So each crotchet is 4 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. And this is very important. Now, students generally they cut here because they have to go ahead. No, you have to hear till the end. Maybe to be as a little bit late, but to pronounce full value of note because it's melodical. If you short and you don't play in the way of sustained sound, this is not music. This is not singing. So ta 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 ta. You see, as a surprise, if you play ta ta ta. This is hiccup. This is absolutely wrong. And you have to play in continuation melodies to sound really melodical. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, calm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Nothing to rush because students play and they are running. No, this is tam taram tam taram. And you can combine also pedal a little bit. Beethoven doesn't have pedal in use so much. Here, how I read, I had really beautiful expert for Beethoven's music in my career as a student, first of all. Is written rinforzando. Doesn't mean only first note to be forte, This is all, because it's contrasting pianissimo which comes after that. And look, dotted note with slur means that you have to hold a really full value of notes. You will see later in the melody how it goes. And look, dot, and also here, look, dot above but without slur. So this is a little bit shorter than full crochet. And you can hear in the air that is obvious that something is happening after that, following the notes you played. You understand? We have here. All with dot above. But we can't short staccato notes so much that you make half a value of note. In that case, composer could write instead of crochet with dot above, quaver and quaver rest. But it's not ideal. So this is correct reading of Beethoven's music. This is so melodical. And when people speak about his music who are really experts as a musicologists or performers, they know what is in question. The melodical play. You have to play melodical. I heard so many beautiful virtuoso pianists, but I stayed very cold because that was nothing. That was just technique. Technique here can't be heard because this is not technique. This is music. You have played this song. You see, the crescendo. Then, second. Not to slow down, but I like to show how this. Now we have crescendo. Now we have pedal points, B flat on the bottom, note which is lying. And I like to be heard. How is resolved? Sustained. This is Beethoven's signature. I know that he wrote this way. Again. No. What is interesting here, when you have this, this is hard for young people. This is an orchestral score. You see, different instruments sounding together. And very important is that you separate. When slur finishes, this is the moment when we have to breathe with hands. To breathe, I said. This is as singers have to breathe. How to sing, or speakers to speak, they have to breathe, to bring air in lungs. So this breathing of hands between quotation marks, of course, means that you release tension from one side and you follow the signature of composers. Writing, this is very typical. You can see the differences in the style of romantic composers regarding classical period, because in classical period, why this is so hard to play classical music? Because it's under rules, very strong rules. You don't have freedom that you like to say, I like to be just different little bit. But this is nothing to do with composer. Composer, as Beethoven said, he wrote the perfect score. So if you change anything, this is not what he wrote. And what is more important, people can say, but we need to be a little bit different because it sounds the same. It's not possible. We are so different, everyone, with the musculature, with the fingers, with technique, with everything, with musicality. So there will be never the same performance. Never similar, maybe, not the same. So I like to say, we need to obey all signs of composers, especially in classical periods. That was the time when the rulers were very strong. I mean, kings, emperors, and so on. And everything was as a reflection of that time. I just like to compare, at the court, that was very important, the ballroom, then aristocracy were dancing, and so on and so on. And that was very nice. They loved music, of course, and they were supporting musicians and composers. But what was in their feeling also is when they are bowing to each other, at the end of during the dance, but at the end. So this bowing was for me always reflection of appoggiatura. Look at that, you will see when we have the example here. This is absolutely this. And that also was reflecting in the composer's works, their music, because they had feeling for surrounded people who surrounded them, you understand? So this is also everything connected. From the Baroque period, when we had, because of limitation of instruments, just louder and softer registers to say, we got with the development of piano, which was still not developed so much in Beethoven's time. And I remember when we had our conference in Sydney 2009, it were four key speakers, beautiful, you don't know which one was better, all of them performing as a solo concerts, and then that was Mr. Bilson from New York, I don't remember his name, name, yes. And he played in PLC on the replica of Beethoven's piano. Of course, you are confused because you see that what is white keys in piano, there is opposite, black. And what is here black, there was white. But he played both, piano and this old kind of piano. But instrument was quite limited, I have to stress. And maybe that was piano at the end of Beethoven's life, when it was developed and was some good sounding achieved. Today's pianos give us so much opportunity, but we can't abuse pedal, especially not in Beethoven's music. Because his music is so, you see, when I speak about how to sustain notes, to play melodically, in that case we don't need so much pedaling to use, because this is done with natural play of fingers. And this is Beethoven, natural sound. So we combine with pedal, you can hear when I played, the girl didn't play pedal at all, but just to say, this is what is needed in some parts, but not really, not so much, because it abuses his beauty of sound. I continue now with the development part, which is in C majors. And now can be pedaling because they are octaves. We need to connect them. Second is also loud. When you carefully watch how text is written, this is obvious that there are two forte G notes. This is loud and then surprise. So this is black and white dynamics, very typical for classical period after Baroque too. So that repeats, I will not repeat. This is the same. Also second theme. Because bridge, I will use pedal, again soft, but without waiting. So this is in speed, I like to just underline. Crescendo here, absolutely. And then crescendo. I don't enjoy so much in use of pedaling in these parts. For example, if you play pedal, look what is happening. playing very wrongly. And because you have this pedal tone on the bottom, this is pedal. This is pedal by name, you see? Always when we have new phrase, I always like to make a comma. It is not rest, but just breath. You know that you change, you relax hands, and you begin new part, new melody. They are all phrases together, but they are different. So when you announce something new to happen with comma, this is very musical, I can tell. And you will see when you do with yourself or with students. Well, this is about... So this is all the same till the end of this movement, because it's repeating, recapitulation. Well, next student is Vincent Vizial, who will play second movement of this same sonata, yes. And I'd like to tell you something, just to read what is interesting, because we know that Beethoven needs maturity and so on and so on. But what Alfred Cortot, very famous French pianist and pedagogue, piano pedagogue, wrote in his course of interpretations, it is important for performers of Beethoven to give him whole his heart, to attach to his great mind all his enthusiasm, all his vigor. Wrong is to consider that the young performer does not understand as good as the matured ones. So this is very important to understand. Of course, that he has in mind very talented students with a good developed technique and so on. About his work, we should not too much to think, he said, Cortot. When is there too much thinking, the feelings are cooling because they are very essential. So to understand. When I play, you can hear that I try to sing. So this is the goal. This is what everyone says, who knows? You can begin. Very well. So he was playing quite well. Only sometimes he doesn't have patience to keep the same way, especially when he has this combination of slurs with dots. You remember? That is sustained, not shorter. It is not really to separate so much, but he will do this very well. So what we have in the beginning, first two bars are, as you have book, you open and you close. Look at that. So there are voices from orchestra, and each section has its own agenda to say, but all in balance with the other ones. And then you have to keep still forte. They are dotted notes, with dots, and then I separate, you see. And I separate here. So don't be scared. New phrase. So I have a little comma. And now watch, he has lying note, pedal note. So why pedal? This is pedal note. It is nice to color a little bit, and I'm not against, but just to say. That was I'd like to say also, I will explain. And hold full values. Look, now it's natural crescendo. It's not written by Beethoven, but it is. Then crescendo natural also. So when you have movement up, this is always miniature crescendo, very, very micro, but it is always. This is how we revive music, because if you play, just look how it sounds. This is study, ordinary study, very low level, you understand? But if you play even, and now, always you revive. This is the goal of my masterclass today. To revive in every one of yours this feeling of how we can build music to be always singing, sung, and so on. Then he played this his line note on the bottom, so pedal tone. We have crotchet, but we have also, in addition of this, it has to sound with chord in left hand. Off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Off, because how Beethoven wrote, you see, this is separated. First is separated, but you hold left hand. Off. 1, 2, 3, 4, because it's dot above, so this is shorter, but not more than 16, semi-quaver, demi-semi-quaver, because it is quaver, this is nothing. Here is important to understand this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the for a young student that can play this, he plays better much. And then the crescendo. Double appoggiatura, look at that. Bowing, what I spoke to you. Everywhere you find out. Off. And the crescendo again. Now. just a moment. No. I just lost the text. You see what you have to do. You have played a little bit too slow. You have to slow down. You hold with E still, and then you leave. You can't be scared because it's what follows and now to be heard. You can imagine these sections of violas in orchestra just playing this. When you hear symphonies, this is absolutely, or in concerto, at accompaniment in orchestra, but more in symphonies, of course, this is orchestral. And all these ornaments are singing, melodical, never bubbling. He played this very nicely, because his dialogue in the bottom voices in left hand. I don't know, the second time is different. He was very good here. Watch now. You leave both hands in the same moment when you repeat right hand. This is, I said, orchestral insight. If you do so, you are winner. You see how is a long dot with the slur combined. Now you can just play last note in the bottom softer. In the middle can be pedal here. Now dots. This is absolutely kind of ritardando when you have combined slur with dots. Here, once again. Not this is hiccup, no. Absolutely long how it is. And then is repetition with a little varied triplets here. So I will just play them the last row of second page of second movement. Watch now. They are heavy. They are sung. Plays its own role, but balanced. It repeats everything here, just in the original key. And then we have coda. This is very hard to young people, especially to play, because look boring, you know, is such movements. And but you have to explain that this is orchestra playing, orchestra. And what I say, all voices have their own significance, so they have to be heard. Only in the second last row you have E flat, where is written pianissimo. This pianissimo is for E flat repeating, not for other voices. And also we had piano, just to see, this is here, everything. Well, here how I produce this. Left hand, bass. Deep sound has to be comma. Movement up, left crescendo. The flat in left hand is. This is E flat only, so much, not that the voice is full values of these double notes. Off left, lift. Again, double notes, full value. Then not any rest. Now loud a little bit down, and hear orchestra how it's going softer and softer. Bottom voice in bass. And third one more soft. Six crochet at the end because it's favors. What I have to finish with the second movement, adagio molto. You know what is adagio? Very slow, and plus molto. So that means it has to sound as orchestra playing slow movements in symphony. This is absolute imitation. I felt always, I don't know why, that his piano music in such movements, slow in movement, are absolutely orchestral. And you see, I have also today student playing Opus 31 number 2. So the middle movement is absolutely very similar to this one in construction, in score. Well, thank you, Vincent. Next one is Thomas Javier, who will play third movement of the same sonata. Here is written, but you will not play, of course. Finale, prestissimo. Prestissimo means fast how you can. Look at that. So how you can, not how any Ashkenazi, Rubinstein when he was alive or other great pianists can play fast. But I can tell you, when you hear on YouTube, for example, if you don't have CDs and so on, you can observe that this is more technical and always something is missed, especially if you compare with this music, playing this way. You understand? You will see. So you will not play fast at all, and this is in the stage of preparation. I hope, yes. I just was reminded with his play that when you have corona, pause or fermata above notes or rest, that means you need to little bit to slow down. But that can be only second last note or group of four last notes. You will see this is very logic. I will try to play a little bit faster, but it has to be what the student has shown. This is that he understands dynamically everything he was obeying. There is this clash of triplets to 4/16. This is a little bit hard, but he is close to the resolution to say. And so the most important here in third movement is to keep dynamics which are indicated. This is not easy, because especially to play in piano. After that it begins not straight. More slow. can't be faster for me. I don't like to be faster because we'll miss music, you understand? Well, this is the first sonata we have passed. Thank you for students who played quite solidly. So we have now a break, and our beautiful president, Dr. Rita Cruz, OAM. So she's happy with my showing, yes? Are you happy?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Contrary to our previous email that went out, there is a beautiful afternoon tea. Courtesy of Susanna, because
My
she's
wife
the cook.
prepared something for you.
Oh yes, something. 14 trays of stuff.
With Pamela, our hostess.
Is that way out?
You will play again, and I will stop you straight when I found out I wrote some notes for me to remember myself trying. On the spot you will rectify from the beginning. Yes. I will tell you, this is the crescendo course here. Then you had this one, what you have to play, you play. Something indefinite. Beethoven doesn't have bubbling. All ornamental notes I spoke earlier, they are part of melody and they have to be sustained in performance. That looks like smaller notes, but it's nothing. That can be. This is part of melody. Then, when you play this, you have to separate here. This is, you play a little bit too connected, you see. And so on. And then, because expression is different and much more powerful here, the same, you see. This is nothing big, but it's more expressive in the Beethoven's style. Just to see next. That was all in order. I have some issue with fingering sometimes. You will see at the end. It is all correct. Correct. Same. Ta, ta, ta. I put the line here, you see? Same. Absolutely. This is much more expressive. You see, and you relax your hand. You are in piano, pianissimo, but this is too much if you don't separate. This is all. Here I don't know what is that. When you play passages, which are short and very fast notes, you have to play with nails. You will see how much it's easier to control and be even and faster. Because it is little issue I just observed. This is not wrong, but it's better to play with curved fingers. There is faster, shorter notes in the line, you have to play them with more curved fingers. Always. This is absolutely as low. What I found out here more. When you play this, I don't understand. This is all the same triplets in the continuation, you see, and you begin to change. I don't know, something is, in first appearance you had the same. Again, this ta 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 ta, piano here, forte, this is musical, very musical, everything. Here is something indefinite to me, but I will hear you once again. So it is better that he plays than me, because he will know now what is possible to do to rectify. This is not comments, I mean not critics, but this is just to help him to be more better. Try. No. Why cut here? How Beethoven wrote. Yes, this is how it's written. No, yes. Yes, better sing. Yes. Much better, you see, F sharp. You change. You play. It's not. You see, this is triplet. Play these two bars. Here. Same. That is. This is just separate ta ta ti, because dotted note is always a little bit emphasized. Dotted note is always emphasized. Ta 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 ti, and when you separate, you have power, easy natural power to produce. Just a moment. What was happening here? Try this. Yes, and A only. And you have only A. Ta, of course. This is sustained notes. Off. No. Look. This is forzando. You can't do in legato. This is impossible. Of course, you see. Off. Same. Don't rush. You squeeze. You see. Pa. You have time. This is not. You are scared because of technical reason. This is not. Try once again. Second time. Still, you have something. You squeeze last note. No. You stay too long, too much. This is all so precisely written. No, look. Is separated. You see? You make to be melodical, but this is wrong melody. Ta-ri-ra, ta, begin some new phrase, you see here, and you announce when you make comma. You have to separate here, absolutely, to be the best. Right? You see? Vague and soft appoggiatura, you see? Ta-ti-ta-ti-ta-ta. Separate freely. Louder. Look. This is what I say when we had in a sonata C minor. This is so even. This is nothing. But when you play this, this is expression. This is not my wish. This is how he wrote. I told you, syncopated notes and dotted notes are emphasized. How much it depends, but here is emphasized. Right? You revive music. You make much more interesting and more, how to say, cordial and warm. Right? Ta ta freely. Ta ta is pianissimo, but you can't. You see the point to separate. The breathe. Yes. This is a universal rule in Beethoven's performance. Continue. Plays pedal because he's jump and he's rest between which you don't. Yes, because you don't connect in that case. Little bit sharper left, sharper staccato. This is different. Don't rush. is singing. You see how beautiful finesse. Fortissimo. Yes, singing is ornament, you see. Yes, soft. Sustained, you see. You can play here different. Yes, twice is B, natural. Now, we have the case of syncopation. What Kyrie Knockhouse, you remember that? Tira ta ta ra ta ra ta ti tira ta ta. Say ti ta double notes are played with curved fingers. Always very curved. And now especially here. Next. That was better, but a little bit rushed, you know. You can wait. This is absolutely acceptable. Try. Maybe a little bit more. Don't be scared. You're scared because you think you are late. You are fast when you play the way. Yes, you can slow down a little bit at the end. Here, when you play this, what happened? Where is this? Just a moment. Play from here again. This is. I feel this. Look, you play. No, this is. This is Beethoven, not me. You try just to separate. How is the rhythm? Rest off. Very well. Look, you have to pay attention to rests also. In Beethoven's music, rest is not because of rest, just because of silence. Rest is silence in sounding. Silence. It is part of sounding, but silence. So this is only little thing you have to pay attention. Generally, you have done very well. Passages to play with absolutely curved fingers. You have seen the this is not natural to you in playing, because of that it's not easy to change straight. But you did, first time especially, it was very successful. And just pay attention to these separations here. I will put sign, because this is Beethoven's. I said, not me, Beethoven. And here that you didn't play consistently. Now, you have begun legato here, so you can't. You have to follow what it is. Very good. Thank you.
Would you just confirm, please, staccato notes under a slur, are they detached but not short?
No, they are very slurred. They could be as legato sustained.
So you ignore the staccato
You know, when
note.
students played the first sonata, C minor, that I explained to them that you have to play ta 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 as ritenuto, little ritardando, not ritenuto. This is absolutely very clear. In Beethoven's signature, this combination of slur with dots means sustained as close to legato. Or to play, you know, dots sometimes is a sign which shows that you have to have a light accent, emphasis.
Portato or portato?
Yes, it's portato, of course. But I like to say, this case with Beethoven's signature, you have to play them very legato. Ta, ta, ta. But you have to press each note as a little bit emphasized, you understand? So this is different result, but it's legato, generally, sustained.
So what is the difference then if you put the emphasis, which is the straight mark, to the dot? Why would he put the, if he wanted just the da, da, da without the sharp accent, then why didn't he put the straight line, the
Tenuto.
what's it called?
Tenuto.
Yeah.
Why didn't he put tenuto?
I think that's what the name
No, but this is his signature.
Yeah.
This is how he wrote. You know, you have Mozart sonatas or Haydn written with some ornamental notes, but they're all 4/16, ordinary. But it's
So it'd be
differently.
about the same
You understand?
thing.
So this is his signature. This is how he approached his writing. So nothing special.
But isn't that similar to Baroque? When you play Baroque music, you never play real staccato, it's more non-legato. Same thing, you need to know the style of that
Yeah, but the
period.
problem is in Baroque, it is limited by instruments.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
yeah,
so
that's
this is
fine.
all short,
I know
doesn't
it's
matter.
different,
Yes,
but
I
you
know,
sort
I
of
know.
play it more
That
non-legato,
depends on
not
instruments,
legato.
of course.
Yeah.
Eunice Lee is the second one. Is she here? Yes. She needed to play first movement, but she was very collegial and she gave to Bill. No, to
Thomas.
Nicholas.
Nicholas.
She gave to Nicholas to play first movement. Although she prepared both first and second movements. We go. So what I like to say, I'm not sitting there because I don't like to cover when I show, you know, after playing of students, that you will really see what I'm doing. I write to them in the book with light pencil, just what they can improve. It is nothing special, but it is better, Beethovenian style. I said not mine, Beethovenian. Right. Very nice, very nice. Very sensitive also. I will just speak to her to show moments. You didn't hold this full very hard, is this one. Then that was all good. All good, all good, all good. Here, you have a tam, tam, tam. So to play staccato notes, it depends also of our taste, how much, but always I'm guided by the melody line, to be melodical, you know, how much it will be long note staccato. Here is very good generally, but could be more. When you watch this page, this is all. He wrote in the beginning, you see, but he didn't repeat. That means that he announces that you continue in the same way. So what means this? Here is different. He likes to be, you see, although there are dots, when he puts slur, he likes to be a little bit sustained, not too long, because that can be on the bill of rest, but it's a little bit longer here. Here is the same, you see, pam, 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 pam. And he just writes first bar. You can continue the same way or you can go back, but there are no dots. This is the proof, you see. Here and what was, here it is crescendo and you play absolutely decrescendo. Now you see? And you know, I said earlier, when we have the line of melody going up, this is what I said, natural crescendo, very small, you know, very, very small. When you go down, this is decreasing, of course, and this is decrescendo. So this is not to abuse, of course, but when you do so, you do very melodical and very musical. So she will repeat this once again, so this is different, you see, in writing, and then you go back to the piano. What you have, you play this way. Watch my hand. This is nice to say that you like to be light, but you can play this. Orchestra, you know, it is pity that people don't go to concerts to see, because when violas, generally, they are very accompanying instrument, they play in two voices, in one voice with second vowel, and they tram, tram, tram. This is not tap, tap, tap. This is imitation of sound of string instruments, I can tell you. Beethoven has this in his blood, because he always heard full score. Doesn't matter this is for one instrument as piano or for orchestra. So this is what is guidance for me, always. And I think that you can agree with me, that this is how to approach. So try to play the same, but without too much move, you know. You make, I don't know, what is the reason? No reason. So just try to keep the same value. This is nothing wrong. This is absolutely in order. But I like to say, just to keep pam, pam, pam. This is, if you watch orchestra, you will feel this rate. Let's try to imitate me. You have double moves to touch. No, it is just the direct piano, soft but direct, not one. You have this as a camel, you know, running to the desert. That is different. Continue. Play from here. Yes, and then you play 5. Why don't play 5 here? This is good fingering. Yes, of course. Yes, continue. What I said, new phrase. You have to have comma, absolutely, because if you go straight and it begins with rest, there is melody, it is not the best. Try just from here. From here. You see? Off, right, left. You see, she has time to prolong. This is not late. This is opposite. This is art of expression. Because you breathe. You breathe in that case. When you separate, you breathe. And this is what young students don't have in their nature. You know, we are always running somewhere to finish soon as possible something. So this is just opposite. Try. Look. Off. No. Continue. Connect. This is absolutely not late. This is music. Yes. That is good. And then hear this ending correctly, just once again, from here. That was good. Stop. We have now case that we have dots and slur, although it's separated with rests. So this is sustained quavers, you see? Where is that? That continues. You see, because you have double moves, this is confusing you. Try. These commas of breathing, and this is so nice. It is absolutely matured play in that case, you see. Examiners can't complain. They will be shocked. They say, of course, such young girl plays so maturely, huh? Let's go. They like to hear this maturity in play. What is, just a moment, rinforzando is with louder sound. Try from here. Tita. Yes. be heard. Doesn't matter pianissimo. Tam, tam, tam. Wait, tam, because it's a surprise. When is big difference between neighbors chords, you can't play directly in a tempo because our ears can't accept this. So tam, tam. You just one comma, you wait and then boom. Just play once again this last few bars. Tam, 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 tam. Yes, you see, if she didn't wait, that was not good. That was not enough good. Thank you. Very nice. We have the second last, Sarah Everhart, the third movement. Yes. How you play? Well, this is quite good. Musical only now. We have to just analyze she and me. What is written here? You remember slur with dots. She plays because this is one of kind how to read, but this is not Beethovenian signature, you understand? If anyone other wrote, could be accepted, but here, she plays. It is not. Long note. You see? You understand this? Everywhere when you have this case, slur above, you have to play non-legato eventually, but very sustained. So try now, this is the first thing, general, and here you have to hold a little bit longer, because it's under slur also, you see, under slur. Here, you absolutely have to have this breathing. Because you play. It is in continuity. This is new phrase. You have to announce. If you do so, you are matured. They are just similar things because this is repeated as rondo many times. I mean scherzo, but as rondo. Also. You have this. Pam, pam, pam. You see that will be more melodical, and what is our goal? To make singing sound. This is same. Try now to play just in the way how I say. You will see what will happen. So try to connect. Yes. Song of music. Yes, very good. So what I like to say, Beethoven's piano is not as piano of Mozart's. It is a little bit deeper, you know, it's contrasting, but not too much. You play a little bit as pianissimo, close, so try once again, just a little bit deeper. Of three. And repeats. Where we have first changing from here. You can play pedal. This pedal is not longer. Shorter, better. You see, that's for the first phrase. If you continue straight, it is not end of first phrase. Try once again, just to see it. This is very important. Try. Dot. Bless you. To ta ta ta. You understand? Try. No. You have ta ta. That is. It's more natural. Bravo. Ta ta. Of the new phrase, you say put comma sign that you wait. Always when you have new phrase, you have to make comma. Continue. Ta have generally, this is different. Try from here, not from here. A B flat. You see singing character. So this is better. This is absolutely. Yes. Legato. Precisely. Not to be longer. You know, if you enter on the bill of rest, this is not correct. Continue. Over here. Try to separate this. To separate, just as an example. Not to show too much, but to separate, right? That is, you see, articulation in his music is very much present. Rests, they are not written at all. So this is the case. If you short dot, staccato not so much that you make rest, this is very different. Very different. Try this once again. Freely, see? Precise, and you have to hold this full value, and so on. So this is about to finalize, to say. You understand very well, and I'm very glad that you can do.
Bravo.
So thank you very much for coming, for your attention.